The possibility of a nuclear attack from Russia are very slim, is what they tell us. You're going to have to determine if that's true with yourself or you believe it'll happen. I posted a photo on my YouTube page where it actually has in the community section where it has, if it was an all out, basically, nuclear war, would you be safe in your area? And pretty much people in the East Coast were done. A couple people replied with, well, I'm fooked, I'm done. Oh well. That's not true. Now, if you're in a big city, then yes, you're done. I mean, if they hit you, you turn to molten lava, you're pretty much done right there. But if you're outside of the blast zone and it doesn't hit you in any way like where I am, then you'll have a chance. But you can still be outside the blast zone and, from wind direction, radiation, so on and so forth, it can come within your area. Basically, the after effects of when it hits. Some people are probably going to be glad if it drops on them so they don't have to deal with this. Other people will suffer a very horrible death. And normally within the first 24 hours, you start vomiting, and within a week, you're finished. A lot of people will be taking their own lives. But what can you do to up your odds? Now, let me first say, if this was to happen, you would have less than 30 minutes to prepare. Probably more like less than 15 minutes. Now, I don't have any kids at home, but if I did during these trying times, especially with what we just have gone through, I would be homeschooling my kids. I would keep my kids very close to me. So if that 15 minutes happened, um, I could take cover. If your kids are at school and a siren or something goes off, you don't have time to go pick them up. You will not get your kids in time from school and get them home to where you're going to shelter in place. Won't happen. So, like I said, until this is over with, I would be homeschooling. Your second step to do is to prepare something in a basement, and hopefully have a basement. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. But you need something underground. And you're trying to keep away from the ashes. You're trying to keep away from the radioactive cloud that you can't see. You're trying to keep away from all that. A lot of people will think, okay, I see a big orange brightness in the sky. Make sure you're not looking at it because you will get temporary blindness. And they will think I need to bug out. So they'll jump in their vehicles, grab their trailers, and go. You've actually committed suicide. And that's the sad part. Most, and the website of the government that usually posts things that a person does in emergency added this section on what to do in case of a nuclear attack. And they say shelter in place for 24 hours. I think you want to shelter in place for a good 2 weeks to a month if you can do it. The longer you can do it, the better. Because the more it settles down. So, this is probably the craziest prep you've ever done in your life. Most people are prepping with food, water, stuff like this. You are basically making a place in your basement, in my case, my bunker, and you are settling in. You want to make a square room that you don't leave, and that's it. Now, you want to have enough food and water and a way to get rid of waste for a minimum of 2 weeks. If you can do it for a month, better yet. So, this is a big part of it. The first thing you're going to need is water. Now, one of these type of canteens, and everybody's seen them, should last a person 2 days. So basically in half is what that should do. You need that much water. To get a better idea, you could have jugs of water like this, for example. These are expensive though. Or you could have 55-gallon jugs. Now, what a 55-gallon jug will keep 2 people for probably 2 weeks, maybe a little less. So if you're a family of four, you would need two 55-gallon jugs minimum. I mean more if you want to have a little extra water, which I would suggest. But then you're also going to need a wrench for that jug. You're also going to need some form of pump to get the water out. So your first jug's probably going to run you around a couple $100 by the time you have everything. And then each jug after that will probably run you $125. You should have been prepping with water long before this happened. Water should have been number one after fitness. It should have been. More so than food. Now, the food you want to keep, it has to be, you want it to be all canned food. It can be in a freezer, but you're probably going to lose electricity running generators, especially right now. I mean, gas prices are ridiculously high, and that's the scary part. So, you want 2 weeks of food. You want them in canned stews, stuff like that. Put aside. Figure, okay, everybody's going to have a can of stew at night, and during the day, maybe another meal. But you want everything sealed in cans so it makes it easy to open, and this way there's no contamination with them. So you got canned food, you got water, and you're going to go for 2 weeks, 4 if you can do it without killing each other. Now, the other thing you're going to need after all this is done and you got this room set up, you got a couple couches, couple beds, couple cots, whatever, is you're going to need games. You're going to need stuff like this. Okay? Got some reflection there. This is Monopoly Frozen 2. Never been opened. I have like 8 of these Monopoly games I pick up and collect every now and then. But sorry, any type of board games, you can get them at garage sales. I mean, you can get board games really cheap now. You should have a good selection of board games. You'll probably get sick of them after a while, cards, but it gives you something to do. Definitely 2 or 3 radios, not one. Everything from battery operated to crank, just so you can listen in what's going on. That's going to be your TV. Will internet go down? Maybe not. Internet's pretty strong. It may not go down, but in some areas it may. So, a laptop, something everybody can use. Cell phones will probably be gone, but you never know. They may come back up. But you want to stick to the basics if you can. So, okay, you got enough water. You got enough food. I'll put a couple links in the bottom of the things I suggest you should pick up that are on Amazon if you're not sure that will basically get you where you need. Now here in the bunker, I have 6 55-gallon containers. 2 actually sit, one on each side of my bed, are used as coffee tables. And they sit on a pallet. They do not sit on the concrete floor. I could literally probably stay in the bunker for a good 6 weeks with the amount of people we have here, if I had to. It's a good idea to have some form of protection. There will be people wandering between looking for food, people that are starving probably within the first week. You don't want to get near them. You don't want to touch them. There will be no law. You really just want to pop it off and end it. They won't be very healthy, and that's for sure. Which brings us down to the last thing, which is some form of gas mask. Now these are all over the place. You can get them for $20, $40. I mean, they're all over eBay. Different types from different amounts, all the way up to 200 or 300, and it's up to you what you want to spend on them. You will need a rain. The cheapest way to do it is a raincoat from Walmart. They're like $20-$30. You get rain pants, you get a raincoat, you get the hood. You put this on, and you get a roll of duct tape, tape your wrists, tape your ankles, and now you can move. So what's the reason for all this? Well, when it comes time to leave that basement, because you're not going to stay there forever, when it comes time to leave, you're going to want to put everybody suited up. You're going to work your way to your vehicle, and you're going to bug out, and you're going to go whatever direction you're going to go. Another thing that might be considered is a Gaga Counter. I'll have a link to a whole bunch. You can decide the one you want. They go anywhere from $40 to $100. It's up to you. That might come in handy. So yeah, you might have to spend a little bit of money on this to get yourself situated, especially if you don't have water. If anything, if a nuke never goes off, at least you have the water situation taken care of. And you should have had that taken care of a long time ago. But It's one of the things that people seem to not do, and they seem to buy a lot more food than anything else. Now, I think the biggest problem is when all this happens, if it happens, is not going crazy and killing each other. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Because basically you're going day to day for dead days is what you're doing. Now, something you might also want to consider is video games that you've got on CD or things you've downloaded, not things you use online, that you're basically just trying to occupy your mind and pass the time if you can. And that's probably very important compared to having all this other stuff like water and food for a minimum of 2 weeks. Because after that, you're going to have to move. And you're going to want more than one rain suit. You're going to want like probably at least 5 rain suits for each person. Because wherever you go, where you decide, you're going to want to take that rain suit off sooner or later. And when you do, you're going to want to wash down. So you're going to wash down with soap and water. Maybe you can keep it. I wouldn't chance it. I mean, I would take it off and leave it and use a new one that's sealed in plastic and go on the next day that way. Now, the nice thing about it, you can go anywhere in this country within a couple of days. Obviously, there'll be no speed limits. Who knows what it'll be? You want to try and stay away from big cities if you are traveling, because they're probably all the highways are plugged up. So that's a big thing. And there's a lot of times you'll be going someplace and end up bogged down and then have to go back. And this is going to have to be a consideration. So having some maps printed off Google on paper and put aside in plastic in different directions and moving different places 2 or 3 different ways out would probably be something you would also want. And just a plan of action on what direction you're going. Now, I know this is all crazy. We're living in some crazy times right now. And I bought all this stuff long ago thinking that someday I might have to deal with like a pandemic, which we've already gone through. I never thought I'd have to deal with a nuclear attack. It never entered my mind. And it's really scary on what's actually going on out there and how stupid people are being. But really consider a room in your basement where you can live for a minimum of 2 weeks, and you have 2 weeks of water, 2 weeks of food, all canned goods, and games, and basically everything I've mentioned. I'll have some links in the bottom, and get yourself prepared for that. And if you got kids, homeschool them. Don't even send them to school. Like I said, you won't have time to get from your home to go pick up your kids and come back. Everybody will be trying to do that, and basically all those people are going to be dead just from radiation poisoning. You'll have barely enough time to move from your house to the shelter you've made in your basement. That's it. And you'll lock it up. Build a very strong wall, build a very strong door. Heck, build 2 walls, 2 doors. Give yourself some warning to protect yourself in case you do have to protect yourself. But you're building yourself you're trying to separate yourself from the radiation to you with ground, concrete. The walls in your house aren't good enough. You want to separate as much as you can from that as you can. And sure, you can buy these so-called pills, and they even say drink red wine might help. Don't believe in magic pills. Really believe in keeping yourself away from it as much as possible. And if you have to travel, keep yourself sealed up as much as possible too. It'll give you a shot. And to do all this, I don't know, $300-400 to keep your life safe. Up to you. But if Russia does decide to push that magic button, wow, what a mess it's going to be. I'll catch you guys on the next one.